Alright, hold on to your savings accounts. Prague, November 13th. Reuters reports the Czech National Bank is buying $1 million worth of Bitcoin. 1 million. For a central bank, that's not even a rounding error. That's petty cash. That's what you find under the sofa cushions when the housekeeper vacuums. Sounds like nothing, right? Sounds like a boring press release you can safely ignore while you watch your money in the bank lose value day after day. Wrong. This is the first domino in Europe to officially fall. This is the moment the captain of the Titanic wakes up, looks out at the ocean and says, "Wait a minute, maybe we should take a closer look at this iceberg thing." Just for testing. This is the news that every other central banker read this morning while brushing their teeth and promptly choked. Welcome to Bitcoin Island. Today we're talking about why this tiny piece of news from Prague changes the entire game. So, what is the Czech National Bank, the CNB, saying officially? The purpose of the portfolio is to gain practical experience with digital assets and to test the necessary processes. Gain practical experience. Test processes. Gaining experience is code for, we have absolutely no idea what we're doing, but we see the train leaving the station, and we're trying to at least jump on the last car before we're left behind completely. They say it's not part of their international reserves. Of course not. That would be like admitting that the old system they manage has flaws. They call it a test portfolio, a playground, a sandbox. But do you know what they're testing in that sandbox? They say it themselves, from the technical management of keys and multi-level approval processes to crisis scenarios and security mechanisms and verifying anti-money laundering compliance. Translation, they are learning how to hold Bitcoin securely. They are learning how to be sovereign. They are learning exactly what we've been preaching here on the island for years. Except you can do it faster and don't need a 3-year evaluation project for it. It's not about the amount. It's not about the 1 million. It's about the action. Now, some of you will say, wait a minute, what about the US? They have thousands of Bitcoin. The US holds over 200,000. Good point. But you're asking the wrong question. The question isn't who holds Bitcoin. The question is how they got it. And that, my friends, is the difference between a thief and a customer. The USA, China, Great Britain, Germany, they're all sitting on huge mountains of Bitcoin, but they haven't bought a single sat. They seized them. They took them from criminals. The state of Saxony in Germany was smart enough to sell its seized Bitcoin immediately, missing out on billions in potential gains. Congratulations on that. When you seize Bitcoin, your message is, this stuff is evil. It's criminal. But hey, it's damn valuable, so we'll take it. That's hypocrisy at the highest level. But when you buy Bitcoin, even if it's just for $1 million for testing, your message is, our old money, our fiat system might not be the best option anymore. We need a plan B. We need to learn how this new thing works. The Czechs are the first in the EU to officially take this step. They are the first to admit, we need to learn how to build this lifeboat. And that brings us to the one thing that keeps every central banker awake at night. Why is this measly little million from Prague more important than all the chatter from Christine Lagarde at the ECB, who, according to Reuters, gave the idea a cold shoulder? Because one word comes into play that should be forbidden in banking: game theory. Game theory sounds complicated, but it's not. Imagine you're at a party. A huge hall, 100 guests, all distinguished people, bankers, governors, suits, and in the middle of the room, under a single spotlight, stands a cake. But it's not just any cake. It's the best cake in the world, and there are only 21 slices. At first, everyone pretends they're not hungry. They sip their flat water. Oh, I'm on a diet. I don't eat sugar. This cake isn't backed by anything. But everyone knows the cake is there. They're eyeing it. They know it's finite, and they know everyone else is eyeing it too. And then it happens. The Czech governor Aleš Miko breaks away from the group, walks over, and takes a tiny little piece. A crumb. Just to test it, just to gain practical experience. The buffet is open. All 99 other guests freeze. The music stops. They stare at him. He tries the cake and he nods. He might even smile. He says nothing, but his expression says it all. This cake tastes damn good. What happens now? A second guest, maybe from Poland or Hungary, gets nervous. He sees the Czech guest chewing with delight. He sees the remaining slices. And he slowly takes one step toward the cake. The moment that second guest starts walking, all hell breaks loose. Suddenly, all 99 others realize, oh God, they're at the cake. It tastes good. The slices are running out. The race is on. No diet, no we're just testing, just pure naked panic. No one wants to be the last one standing there with an empty plate. Because if you're the last one, the cake is gone. That is game theory. An unstoppable race for a scarce asset. And the Czech National Bank is the first guest at the European party to officially admit they're sniffing the cake. But the Czechs aren't the only ones in the world who are hungry. They're just the first Europeans to admit it. The party is already well underway. There's El Salvador. El Salvador wasn't at the party. El Salvador is the party. They baked the cake. President Bukele didn't test. He didn't gain experience. He made Bitcoin legal tender. He's stacking sats while the CNB is still reading the manual for the cake fork. Then there's Bhutan, the small kingdom in the Himalayas. Super quiet, super smart. They aren't testing, they're mining Bitcoin. They have hydropower and are using it to quietly secure their pieces of the cake while the rest of the world argues. And then there's the Czech Republic. Why is this such a big deal? Because El Salvador and Bhutan, they're far away. But the Czech Republic? That's the EU. That's the European Central Bank's front yard. Oh, hello, Christine. Look what we have here. A Bitcoin. Just testing. Just ignore us. And the ECB hates this. Lagarde gave the idea a cold shoulder, and Governor Michel in Prague? He's doing it anyway. That is the crack in the dam. But don't be fooled. They're not doing this for you. They're not doing it because they love Bitcoin. They're doing it because they're afraid. And they even tell us what they're afraid of. Governor Alice Michael says it's realistic to expect that in the future it will be easy to buy an espresso with one tap and a tokenized check bond with another. Boom, there it is. They're not talking about Bitcoin as money. They're talking about the tokenization of everything. They understand that the technology, the blockchain, is going to eat the old financial system. And they are realizing in a panic, if we don't learn how to hold digital assets, how to manage keys, how to operate securely, then we will just be spectators in the new system. That $1 million isn't the stake. It's the tuition fee. They are sending their bankers to the Bitcoin University that you've already been attending. And what does this mean for you? For you on your path to financial sovereignty? It means you're not crazy. It means that what we discuss here, building your own financial Noah's Ark, your path to Bitcoin Island, is now being copied by the very people who told you for years the boat would sink. They are building a lifeboat now, too. A tiny, measly $1 million inflatable raft. The question is, do you want to wait for them? Do you want to wait for the bureaucrats who steered the first boat, the fiat system, into the iceberg to tell you when you're allowed to get in the lifeboat? Do you want to wait until they've completed their 2 to 3 year evaluation project? Or will you take your financial freedom into your own hands right now? The Czechs are now learning how to manage keys. You can learn that tonight. They are testing crisis scenarios. You can set up your cold wallet today. You have a head start. The central banks aren't your competition. They are your exit liquidity. If you're ready to build your own lifeboat, not the bureaucrats' one, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to this channel. We'll walk this path together. Comment below. What do you think? Which country in Europe is next to gain experience? Poland? Hungary? Or maybe the Swiss, very quietly? And hey, the Czechs are now testing how to securely manage their keys and run through crisis scenarios. Seriously, it's in their report. They are just starting. Do you want a central bank to learn how to be sovereign faster than you? Hell no. That's exactly why, in the next video, I'll show you how to do what these bankers are only just starting to learn, how to store your Bitcoin truly securely. Not on an exchange, not just somehow, but sovereignly. Before the suits figure it out.